Today on WAtv News, we talk to government teachers about their new class format. We look at what's happening in the science class, and we catch up with teachers that would have been on Winterim trips had it not been for COVID. Thank you for joining us this morning. WAtv starts now. Good morning, Wheaton Academy. I'm Oso Rocco. Today is Tuesday, January 12th. Every Winterim student have the chance to visit Washington, D.C. and dive into U.S. government firsthand. This year, the class had to be taught right here in West Chicago instead. Sophia Nemchek gives us more.
Today, me and my colleagues Josti Gasola and Josiah Dobler had the opportunity to go down and talk to some teachers that are part of the U.S. government class and how things have changed this year with COVID.
So government in this year is a little different because it's 2 weeks. Normally it's 1 week and then the second week we go to Washington. But this year you can't travel. So we have 2 exciting weeks of government. It is delightful.
Because of COVID this year, the class was unable to go to Washington, D.C. This was a blessing in disguise because of the events that happened on January 6th. If the class would have went, they would have been in the middle of the events that were happening that day on Capitol Hill.
So this year we were not able to go on the Washington, D.C. trip for obvious reasons with COVID. And it really, it's a bummer because students are really able to see firsthand what government looks like and how it operates. In retrospect, it was probably a blessing because we would have been there on Wednesday this past year. But it is going to be something now in the future that I think students will have a different appreciation for, just understanding how the Capitol works, what it means to be on the Senate floor, what it means to actually go through the cloakroom.
Maybe next year, COVID will be over in the class. We'll be able to go to Washington, D.C. to get an in-person experience of what government really is like. This is Sophia Nemchek signing off.
Thank you, Sophia. Science and art aren't often referenced together. Photographer Sam Peniel and I talked to Ms. Johnson about her Winterim class that breaks down those stereotypes. This year in the Winterim class, Chemistry and Creativity, the students are discovering connections between chemistry and art. We interviewed Ms. Johnson for more information.
I am teaching chemistry of creativity this year. We get to see how chemistry or even physics actually helps us create different forms of art. I think a lot of students think that science and art don't mix, but they actually go hand in hand.
Some of my favorite parts about this class is definitely that Miss Johnson teaches it, and there's just a lot of freedom and creativity that you can do whatever you really want to.
It's clear that students are really enjoying this class. So next Winterim, be sure to check it out. This is Sam and Osa from WATv, signing out.
In our last report, Will Hupke and Carlos Maldonado caught up with teachers and staff that previously had spent their Winterim time traveling abroad in another country.
What's up, Wheaton Academy? I'm Will Hupke, and today my partner, Carlos Maldonado, and I went and asked teachers who have gone on trips in the past about what they missed from last year and also what they're doing now.
Well, I've been taking a trip to Guatemala for, I think, 8 years in a row now, so it was a bit of a jolt not to get to travel there this year, but I think this is proof that God is always at work and always has a way for us to glorify Him in every situation. I am absolutely loving my class this Winterim, and I'm really happy to be here, even though I'm sad not to be in Guatemala right now, especially since I'm standing outside. But I love my class this year, and I'm so thankful that God is sovereign and able to work no matter what.
So I used to go to Costa Rica for the girls' surf trip every other year for Winterim. And we would go surfing, and we would study the Book of Ruth, and it was amazing. And this year, because we couldn't do that, I'm teaching food science with a group of girls instead. And it is still so much fun. We're having a blast. We are doing things like making kombucha, making sourdough, and we're making like bubbly yeast and really gross things. So they're both really fun. It's a different experience being on campus, but it's still really fun, and Winterim is just always a blast.
Well, normally during Winterim, I would take a trip. I would group of kids somewhere in a different country. We would go to Greece or Italy. We've been to Africa, and we've always had a great experience. I love our trips because we get to experience another culture, different foods, have a great community together. We spend so much time together laughing and exploring the world. And obviously, with everybody else in the world, COVID did not let that happen. So there was no travel this year. So it's a new experience for me to be here for Winterim. This is only the first time since I've worked here that I've actually am home during Winterim and not on a trip. So it's been hard to adjust to that. But I'm not looking forward to next year when I know we're going to have amazing trips because we're going to be able to do it all over again. So I'm looking forward to that.
While the pandemic has affected many classes this year, teachers are still very optimistic and excited for next year, hoping that everything will return to normal and trips will continue. This is Will Hupke, signing out.
Thanks, Will. I know trips were a huge part of the Winterim experience, and I'm sure a lot of people are looking forward to the potential of trips next year. In weather today, Carlos Maldonado, sorry guys, it's not me, tells us if that snow will actually reach us for this weekend.
It's Carlos here, back with the weather. Here we see, as yesterday, storms forming over here in Seattle and Oregon and dripping over to Northern California and then coming over here from Idaho and Montana, possibly reaching us over here in Chicago. Now with our 5-day forecast. Tuesday, Wednesday, same as yesterday, 33, 36 degrees. Thursday, rain and snow with 39. Friday, snow with 33. And Saturday, cloudy with 32 degrees. Today, January 12th, West Chicago, it's cloudy with 33. Yet last year, it was 34 degrees, average of 30. And sunset will be around 4:43 p.m. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Carlos. Now let's take a look at some big headlines for the day. Illinois' former Speaker of the House, Michael Madigan, suspended his campaign for 2 years. Madigan was the longest-serving speaker in the U.S. He has served as Illinois Speaker for 35 of the last 37 years. He has often been labeled as the most powerful and influential man in the state. Madigan is suspending his campaign as he was implicated but not charged in a ComEd bribery scandal. The University of Alabama took home another national championship last night. This sixth championship in the last 12 years for Alabama and Coach Saban's seventh. The team had no trouble handling the defense of the Ohio State because of its three big weapons: quarterback Mac Jones, running back Najee Harris, and Heisman Trophy winner Devontae Smith. And finally, in Wheaton Academy news, senior guys, remember that the deadline for the Mr. Wah application is coming up quickly. Please get in all applications no later than Friday this week. That's all for us today. Have a great Tuesday, Wheaton Academy. From all of us here at Studio 22, this is Oso Rocco from WAtv signing out.